Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, we encountered Wraith Sandorm, who seemed to be threatening anyway, Uri's family. And we had to go through some sort of trial that she has set up for us. I kinda wouldn't have minded if we had fought her here and now, but, well, she wouldn't let us. Also, there is now grass here. How long did that memory card change take place that suddenly there's tall grass? And so we come across another world map here. I'm guessing this is going to be Camden, which I assume is another real world location in Arkansas. Probably doesn't look like this, but we'll go along with it. So I wonder if there's any places of interest here. Well, our next destination, actually we seem to have multiple options, so I'm not sure. A few castle-type places up here. Very curious about those, as well as a random place out here. Well, let's see what we got here. Weapon shop. You know, it's a good thing that we got that little boat now. Considering the effort that Lantis and Sarah's Knight were making to ensure we don't go across water without a boat, it probably would be kind of annoying trying to get across around here. So what is this place? Weapon shop. I'll take it. An entry titled How to Kill Someone with Your Bare Hands. He looks uncertainly at Victor Crawley. Dusk adjusts Lisa's monocle as he stops on one page. Possible homicidal tendencies of the ghoulish-looking shop owner over there aside, consider our luck in having noticed this book and opened it in the first place. Look here! Ah, an affinity fragment. Cool. What's this one? This one is more defense. You know what? I think I'll give this one to Harrison. He's kind of lacking in the defense department there. Okay, so what have we got here? We got the Kamadaki, rare and highly treasured sword of Oriental origin. It's Uri's 5th weapon. I think we already found one of those. Northern Cross, such an elegant sword with its mystical glacier shimmer could only have come from a fairy tale land. It's Dusk's 5th weapon, I think we have that as well. Morning Star, mighty steel weapon made to exert heavy blunt trauma. Lynn's 5th weapon. Regal Blade, blade made for the king who lives by the sword. Harrison's 5th weapon. A grenade launcher. They can sell these things to college kids now? 5th generic weapon. Okay, I'm interested. Okay, so let me look at the guide, because the shop probably mentions these. I mean, rather, the guide probably mentions these. And I'll kind of take a look at what we got here. Well, currently I have given Uri the Ruda Blade. Oh, that's right, I equipped it for the boss fight against Gorgon. Now we don't really need it at the moment. Kamadaki. Yep, that is his newest weapon. I really need to consider selling off some of this stuff. Dusk has the North Cross, Lynn already has the Morning Star, and Harrison already has the Regal Blade, so I don't have to worry about buying any of those. However, I am super duper curious about that rocket launcher. So we got store owner Victor Crawley, who is saying in a hostile, gravelly voice, "Come on in, kids. Ain't got any more big ol' hatchets for chopping up them freakish critters seen all around the country these last several days. But in the name of a citizen's right to self-defense in such dire times, the law's now allowing us weapon dealers to sell military-grade weapons to the common public." Really? Well, that's kind of interesting. First off, it's doubly interesting, the fact that they're selling rocket launchers to the general public. But more interesting, this implies that all these monsters that have arrived on Earth are being noticed by the public. Grenade throwers do not come cheap, though. Uri steps way back while trying to avoid eye contact. Yeah. Speaking of freakish... Okay, it's expensive. It can be equipped by anybody. Attack minus 10 in order to make up for the fact that it's a group attack. That reminds me, now that we've dealt with that boss, we can go ahead and give Lin back that one weapon he has. Tengu bow? No. Oven bow. Which is just a little bit stronger than the grenade launcher. Would anybody else benefit from that, though? The rocket launcher, that is. Perhaps I could give that to Uri? Having two characters that could hit groups of enemies. Not to mention, Uri has these Levis gloves. Actually, I think several of us do. Yeah, Lin also has a pair of them. Do I want to buy the rocket launcher? I might buy the rocket launcher just because it's going to be funny to have a rocket launcher. It's a question of who would I give it to. Probably Uri. Hello, Spiteful Crow! Welcome to the stream. I am buying a rocket launcher. A grenade launcher, in fact. Oh yeah, after that last boss fight, probably also want to buy a bunch of these. And the sugar clover. That'll do. Have fun with this, Uri. Now, along with that, I think I need to seriously consider selling some of this old equipment. Because this is kind of stacking up. So let's start with the 80s wave. It is kind of weak. The broadsword is kind of weak at this point. Morning Star, hold on to that just in case. I'm not gonna likely use any of the shields. Apparently I can't sell the magic bracelet. Jeweled band I'm keeping. So will I keep these amulets and the pendants because they're kind of good. Definitely keeping the Kamadaki since, you know, that's like the newest thing. And that'll take care of that. This'll make going through my inventory a heck of a lot easier. Alright, what's next here? This is probably the middle of Camden. No, it's Uri's crib. Oh, okay. So, this is probably not where we need to be, but we'll go ahead and head in here because it's not where we need to be. Saving the place we need to be for after. Ah, the old college bachelor pad. Never thought I would hear myself say that, and I actually feel kind of happy and relieved to see this place again after being gone for so long. Helvenia must be influencing me to think that there must be better places out there than the slums of a little city such as this one. I understand why you would feel that way, coming back to even a home with that appears so dark and depressing in comparison to Elvenia such as this, my dear children. These cities are your homes, after all. So this is where you live and go to school by yourself, Master Uri? Please try to hold back on the usage of your typical Elvenian formalities with me, Michiru. And yes, you are correct. The house in Magnolia belongs only to Lynn, Dusk, and Lynn's brother Josh, whom you haven't met. And then there is Harrison, who chose to stay in El Dorado rather than attend college like the rest of us after we all got out of high school. What a filthy and depressing place. It just seems as though everywhere on this planet has become so hierarchical and industrialized that nothing of the natural beauty of Serena's creation can remain. How can you children bear to live in such a society? Not to mention specifically this cruddy old dwelling. Hey, come on now. That's just how it must be for most people while they are students in college, having to live a little rough like this, Aries. It's just another part of the road to an education that eventually brings a better future. And you can only expect that such a road will be fraught with many difficulties, right? Try not to let it get to you so easily, okay? I'm sorry. Forgive my speaking so harshly. Well, I suppose it is understandable that angels of heaven, having dwelt in such a beautiful and innocent world such as Elvenia all of their lives, would be a little shaken by the appearance of this world as it has become. Is it not, Miss Aries? Just a bit. If this is what you four think of a city as small and technologically inferior as Camden, then I am glad that we aren't near any of the larger cities in America for you to look upon. You will scarcely find a flower on the ground or a starlight in the sky left in those places. I see. That is rather saddening to hear. Yet, perhaps if the day arrives that we finally return home from Elvenia for good, the four of us with our goddesses may be able to bring something back with us to make the earth seem like a brighter place. Yes, we'll be counting on that, my son. For what it's worth, I kinda like the town that I am in. It is still somewhat scenic, and in fact I happen to live next to a forest. It's kinda nice here. Birds still flying around, and there's squirrels all over and that sort of thing. Once I even saw a chipmunk. Look, everyone, I know very well it is against my better judgment to trust a crazy person like that Wraith woman when she says that she will give us, as her enemies, time to prepare to confront her before she will punish our reluctance by wasting an entire city of people. But still, we have been fighting so hard all of this time, and it has scarcely come to an end ever since that day we agreed to participate in Naraka's war. Everything's just been so crazy since, and all of those trials came just one after the other, giving us no rest. I'm sorry, but can all of the rest of you understand if I say that I would rather take Wraith at her word so that I can just forget all of our current problems and be able to act like a normal kid again, just for this one night? Priyan softens. I know. It's been rough for you, hasn't it, kid? It's only understandable you would feel this way by now. Yeah, of course, man. None of us are going to object to that. If this is your only opportunity in such a long time, children, then, of course, please by all means rest and think of happier times for a while. In fact, you know... What do you say, everyone? Shall we order a pizza and hook up the PlayStation for tonight? Heh, why not? It's how we've always hung out in the old days. What is this strange thing you all keep calling pizza? Okay, if heaven does not legit have pizza, I will be very disappointed. Say what? Okay, it's decided, Aries. We are definitely going to have to introduce you four girls to this now. You've been spending way too much time playing your harps or something up in heaven to have never tasted pizza before. It's the only thing in all of this world that sustains a university student, you know. I guess it sounds like something us angels will just have to stick around your little homecoming party for. We'll stay here for the night then, and leave for the school to find Wraith early in the morning. Oh, we were talking about a school going to? It's been a while since we had one of these cutscenes. And so, it turned out that Harrison, Dusk, Lynn, and myself were not the first human beings to ever come upon another world that we never had known existed apart from our own. An Elvenian named Madison, too, had been stuck here on Earth long ago as a result of this Dark Lord's first true act of evil upon either of the two worlds. And we discovered from Madison and her husband Rupert themselves that the great and powerful Lord of Darkness, whom we've fighting all this time, is actually a former human being himself, specifically a human from our own world, Earth. So basically we are recapping what has been going on in this chapter, by the way. I had heard many stories from the church when I was younger about there being a personification of both good and evil, or light and darkness, that have existed in the universe since the beginning of time, and both had been at conflict with each other for millennia for mastery over all that was embodied within creation. And while the war between them had been an intangible one until this present day, the end fate of who would live and who would be forever banished into oblivion would soon be decided one day soon. I wonder if that is why this quest to save Elvenia is really about. I read that wrong somehow. I lost track how. But I think I understood it. The more I think about it, the more I am beginning to imagine that these seeming fairy tales are true. But maybe this fight is, or was, not so much between Serena and the dragon, but rather between their physical representations. There was the Lord of Darkness, once a human, who personified the dragon, and then there was the Holy Priestess who had once fought him all by herself when she had learned that Sarah was beginning to suffer dreams about the Dark Lord's arrival, so she must have been the mortal image of Serena. I'll admit, I'm still not certain if the Goddess of Fate just isn't some story that is meant by the soulless angels to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It isn't that I can really blame Priyan and the other angels for trying to do whatever they could to give the people of Elvenia hope for the coming tomorrow, but I guess I would just rather they be honest in telling us everything rather than think that they have to provide lies in order also to provide comfort. And it's times like these that I am especially glad my bond to Priyan is not quite so personal as the others might be, that she can read my thoughts. Priyan would probably be pretty angry with me if she knew, or something right there in the middle of public the next time I do something she considers to be out of line. Sigh. But none of this really matters to me at the moment, as does what Madison had spoken to me about just a bit earlier, after everyone else had gone to sleep. Oh yeah, what was that about? How Madison was able to tell, by the way I had been studying her face all evening, that I had an old nomadic friend named Jersey Hartshorn back in Elvenia, I will never be able to figure out. I don't know. There was something of Jersey's eyes, her lost-seeking expression that I could see in the face of the former Teal Princess, and Madison could tell. She politely asked me if there was someone I had met while in Alvenia that resembled her somehow, and I said that there was. After Madison had continued to subtly inquire of Jersey, for some reason I had felt compelled to tell her about the worries that were preying on my mind ever since the day that we could only look on as Gorgon used his magic to take us away from the cliff overlooking Puesca's lake from a battered and listless Jersey hartshorn. It still angered me that she could do nothing to defend herself against the many ogre demons who surrounded her, taunting her as we were whisked away. That there was nothing we could do now to save her from them. I had been worrying all that time we'd been stuck in the ogre demon's lair, not that we were probably soon to die at the hands of Gorgon and the Dark Lord himself, but that we had very likely left poor Jersey to a very painful and lonely death. Sure, Gorgon had kept his promise, and so she had survived. Still, now there was the question of how Jersey would fare, mentally speaking, knowing that she had failed once again to achieve a purpose she'd promised to herself that she would fulfill, even if, of course, she was not to blame. It's as though I am becoming more and more like Dusk, and now Lynn, too, it seems, when it comes to how I feel about the people of Alvenia. Suddenly, it's as though I really care. But maybe that's to be expected after everything we've been through with them. I even found myself liking Sarah after knowing her for a while, and I had thought she was a total weirdo when we'd first met her, the way she kept on as though she was always involuntarily attuned to a spiritual plane where demons haunted and tormented her at nearly every waking moment. Madison was strangely very attentive as I had recalled all of the many things Jersey had gotten herself wrapped up in along with us four Earthlings. And then afterwards she had simply smiled and said, as though she knew all this time we had been speaking that she was fated to say it, "It may be, then, your responsibility to help this girl one day, and no one else's. Learn well from the goddess of love, Pri and Fearth, in that case. Accept her guidance, and I am certain that she can teach you the right and unselfish path to saving Jersey from her misery."